right, hello wine drinking people, we're back. It is Thursday, September 9th, and quite a bit of drinking in the store yesterday, so I'm going to get right to things and what I drank yesterday, so part of the show here. And we had a couple suppliers in the store. We had Liz in with Mark. It was a Liz and Mark show yesterday to start the day out, and kind of a mixed bag of stuff. Most of it I've had before. Hey, wait a minute, that Deja Vu theme, wasn't that part of the show yesterday? Well, there was a couple new wines in here, and we're always happy to taste good wines. Again, the first time I've had this Wuthering Hills Sauvignon Blanc from Marlborough. Really nice. Had a little fresh kiwi, grapefruit, a little bit of that fresh herb and green kind of mint note you get to some Sauvignon Blancs, especially from New Zealand. And this wine was nice and fresh and clean on the tongue, very zesty and kind of refreshing, and a lot of that lovely kiwi, passion fruit, tropical fruit showing on the finish as well. And this is a wine we're going to be showing at the Pairings event at the Broward Center. That's right, folks. All right, so a little preview into that. And then we've got Gurgitch Hills Fumé Blanc, 2008. This wine's only available in half bottles. All right, do we need to talk about it? Enough said. Marchesi di Barolo. They do have the 2007 Fumé Blanc at a great price. Check it on this author. It's less than the half bottles of the 1808. So 07 is a very good vintage also. All right, then we had Marchesi di Barolo. Their Gavi. This is a nice, light, thirst-quenching wine. Gavi is a wine made out of the Cortese varietal. Marchesi di Barolo, the largest producer in the Piedmont, but still making very good wine. Some fresh green apple, lemon citrus, notes of wet stone. Pretty simple, pretty pleasant, and a little light spritz to the wine also. Very refreshing. Very nice. And then a Chardonnay from Bouchaine Winery. Bouchaine making very good wines, very Burgundian in style. I think Mike Richmond spent his summers with Becky Wasserman. That may be where he got his Burgundian style of making wine. But very nice. A little bit of toasty oak spice, a little bit of vanilla, and a nice amount of minerality here. Very bright, typical Carneros Chardonnay in that respect. Just a nice amount of toasty oak, very understated on the finish, and that's what we like in Chardonnay. We don't want the oak to dominate, but the 07 Chardonnay from Bouchaine, very nice. Argyle Chardonnay Nuthouse, the exact opposite. Man, these guys are just that, Nuthouse, and this Chardonnay, very nutty, really toasty, and really big. Still had some nice fruit on the palate, not quite as toasty on the finish, but a pretty big style of Chardonnay, a lot of spice, and a lot of nuttiness. All right. Okay, Bouchaine Pinot Noir Carneros up next, the 06. Not quite as impressive as the 07, but still a nice little wine. We'll probably have the 07 available in the store. The 07 Robert Hall Paso Robles, one of the best values coming out of Paso Robles. Paso Robles producing some great value Cabernet Sauvignon. More on the forward side, more on the fruity side, not quite as structured as Napa Valley or even Sonoma, but really a crowd pleaser and ready to drink today. Some lovely red cherry, red plum fruit here, and a little bit of fresh plowed earth and sweet tobacco spice. Really forward, round tannins, a wine that's very refreshing and drinking very nice. The 2006 Raymond Merlot is up next. Merlot is kind of a varietal that's got a bad rap from California. Raymond, a very good winer. It was just purchased by the Boisset family. And, anything that John Charles purchases, the quality is going nowhere but up here. But still, these wines from Raymond, very nice. The Merlot and then the Cabernet Sauvignon, Napa, Sonoma, and Lake. This is a new product for them. It's got 3 different appellations. It's just made for retail. We don't really like things that are just made for retail. We want to be able to have things that other people have also. But we'll talk to John Charles about that next time we speak to him. But both of these wines, very nice. The Trilogy being the star in the show here in this lineup. This is a wine, the 06, that we've had a few months ago. It's one of those that came back. We didn't buy it, obviously, so they showed it to us again. But typical Napa Valley Cabernet, big, currant, black cherry fruit, espresso, dark chocolate notes in there, a lot of toasty oak spice, and pretty thick and chewy on the tongue, this 06 vintage. Some of these wines do tend to be a little tannic, but a pretty big wine. Definitely, one of the better wines in its price point that we have in the store. We'll be able to sell this just under $40 a bottle. And then a little Marchesi di Barolo Barbaresco to finish up the day here with these guys. This is, as I mentioned before, a very large producer, but producing very good wines. This 05 vintage, pretty forward and showing pretty nice, even right now at this young stage, a full bouquet of dried flowers, allspice, red cherry liqueur, and a little hint of that black tar spice that you get from Barbaresco and Barolo. And pretty smooth wine, as I mentioned before, 05 drinking pretty nice, even right out of the gate, but some tannin, some substantial tannin still in the finish. This still is young Barbaresco, folks. All right, well, last night we had our German and Austrian tasting at Cafe Max, and hey, there was more than 4 people there. Thank you, everybody that showed up, even though one of our suppliers was fairly late. Thank you for showing up fairly late, Hermes. And the wines were very good. JT, thank you for being there on time and providing us with the Gruner Veltliner and the Austrian wines. The Sauvignon Blanc was a pretty big hit. I really like that. I like the Gruner from FX Pickler the best, of course. I mean, this is one of the top producers in Austria, and actually there's 3 Picklers, Rudy Pickler, FX Pickler, and then there's another Pickler also I can't think of at the moment. But the Gruner Veltliner Smarge, outstanding last night, showing a lot more concentration and depth than the other wines, even though some of the people like the Sauvignon Blanc best, which was pretty thin and pretty light and pretty, easy drinking style. Hey, that's why we make all these different wines. That's why we do all these tastings, folks, because you can't trust the critics. You got to put the wine in your own mouth and see how you like it. All right. Well, I didn't get to try the German wine, so I can't talk about those. Sorry, I had to leave early. It was Isabella's birthday party. And we focused on some 03 since Isabella was born in 03. And we had 03 Hazy Blur, which is a Shiraz from Ross Tromboli. And Ross Tromboli is like saying Al Capone in this country. I know I've mentioned his wines before. A great producer, not a gangster, but Ross Tromboli was a gangster in Australia, a very well-known one. So I'm sure when Ross picks up the phone and orders his barrels, those people that knew the gangster probably take a little extra care in delivering them and everything else. But his Baruta Shiraz is what we had last night. This wine, lovely black plum fruit. This 03 vintage showing very nice right now. Soft tannins, a little bit of espresso, a little dark chocolate in there as well, and really smoothing out and showing nice. Still nice freshness in this wine, though, even though it's big, very balanced. I love the wines from Hazy Blur. And then one of the great dessert wines. My mom likes sweet wines. I have to bring something sweet if we're having a dinner at her house. The Court de Chambre from Domaine de Baumard. Wow, fantastic. I don't know if she appreciated all this, bringing her one of the greatest dessert wines of the world. But the 03, although maybe a little light in acidity, this wine has got some gorgeous forward fruit, just lovely apricots, Asian pear, and a little bit of quince and some nice spice and vanilla. Just a delectable wine, and was pretty good even with dinner. I mean, obviously with the peach pie that my dad made, that's what Isabella wanted for dessert last night. It was better, but you can sow these wines with spicy food. We had tacos last night, and that's what my mom drank it with. So check it out on today's email, What I Drank Yesterday. I'm your host, Andrew Lampazone, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.